Session Skate Sim is an open-world, open-ended video game focusing on showcasing the most realistic skateboarding gameplay and was touted as a spiritual successor to the skate games. But does this game hold a candle to the other titans of this genre? Let's find out. So, for full transparency, all the footage you'll be seeing in this review was recorded using a Sony PlayStation 5. Skateboarding games have never truly been my cup of tea. I played many of the early Tony Hawk games and spent a decent amount of time on Skate 3, but I never truly considered myself a true fan of the skating genre. So for this review, I'm getting help from my friend Kirk, who is also a massive fan of skateboarding, both on console and in real life.
How's it guys, I'm Kirk and we're going to be talking about Session the Skate Sim today.
So here are the points we'll be addressing in the video. You can jump to any of the timestamps listed if anything piques your interest. Straight off the bat, I can say that this game is hard, significantly harder than your average skater, and that was intentional. The game uses a much more complicated control scheme than earlier games, and while this does offer a more diverse playstyle, it adds a massive learning curve to any new players. The game uses a two-stick scheme and requires players to use the left and right triggers to steer. This isn't inherently a bad control scheme, but it is very, very different to what players might be used to or accustomed to.
So the controls they were really good when it actually came to like the foot movement. I dug that your left analog is your left foot and your right analog is your right foot. But one thing I did not enjoy was the R2, L2 turning left and right. It was very hard to get used to, and also like if you set up before, let's say you set a marker at a specific spot and you need to straighten out for that rail that you're trying to get a good grind on, or like a feeble or something, and that it's very hard to make a quick adjustment. Other than that, the rest of the controls are amazing.
I mentioned earlier that many saw this game as a spiritual successor to the Skate series, but in all honesty, I see this as a very bad comparison. Besides the incredibly different control schemes, the gameplay seems worlds apart. While Skate was all about over-the-top action and gave players massive sandboxes designed with skating in mind, Session takes a much more realistic and grounded approach, both with gameplay and the worlds that have been built around it. Long gone are the days of skating through locations at high speeds and performing tricks that would completely shatter your shins. And in its place is a much more mundane yet grounded system that still offers some fun and excitement. The fun comes from the challenge. Much like skateboarding in real life, spending time practicing and falling over and over until a move is perfected. I don't want to make this comparison, but this is basically Dark Souls for skateboarding. Starting off with a massive learning curve, but after a few attempts you'll succeed in your goal. So yes, gameplay is tricky and will take some getting used to, but push through that tough beginning and you will soon be stringing together combo after combo.
I really dug the game. It really made me feel like I was actually skateboarding. Like, even some of the scenes I had to catch myself and be like, what did I just do? Like there was, they've added like the boning technique into like the skating sim, which, that's my favorite thing about skating is any trick that is boned, I just love, man. So as soon as I popped and I saw you could flick the board forward and you push both like the analogs up, bro, and it just pops that board and gives you that extra height. I love it, man.
I do want to mention the default camera angle, which you'll be seeing for most of the video. I did not enjoy it, and after a few hours, I just had to adjust it. After the adjustments, I found myself enjoying the game much, much more.
As soon as you got off your board, the game really felt like it was in alpha. Like it was so groggy, the movement and that was running around, and that you'd run against a ledge and your guy would fall. You're not meant to be on your feet in that game, because as soon as you start rolling, that's where the game shows you what's good.
Kirk said it best: while not on the board, the player's movements do not feel polished at all. Weightless jumps and awkward handling mean you're going to want to stay on your board most of the time.
I like the character customization. It had a lot of options. I didn't see too much branding because I didn't unlock too much.
I would say the character customization is simply serviceable. That is probably the best way for me to describe the customization in this game. Yes, we get character and board customization, but it feels surface level when compared to other games that offer similar customization options for characters. While the graphics may not seem particularly groundbreaking, especially when compared to other PS5 games, they were definitely serviceable. At this point in the life cycle of video games, many people have their own opinion on graphics and art styles. Some love hyper-realistic visuals, while others are perfectly fine and content with simpler, more stylized visuals. Sessions definitely aims to portray the more visually realistic world, and this is visible through its graphics, character models, world, and gameplay. But visually, it never really reaches the point of realism. In conclusion, Session had the mentality of changing up the established ideas around skateboarding games, removing the more simplified mechanics and focusing on a complex control scheme, and realistic gameplay definitely separated this from other games in the genre. But it may scare off gamers who are new to the world of virtual skateboarding. I would say if you're a relative newbie to skaters, definitely get ready for a massive learning curve. And if you are a veteran of the genre, you can expect some big changes that you're going to have to get used to, but this game is definitely right up your alley. Sessions Skate Sim is a love letter to the complexity of skateboarding and rewards those who put in the time and effort into exploring the game and its mechanics.